Hello everyone. Today we are starting with agriculture mechanization. Hold on the pens, sit with the paper and practice meanwhile I'll teach. So because it's a revision and mains oriented keyword noting session, right, for agricultural subject. So the next topic was agriculture mechanization. So today we are dealing with that. So as usual we go with the data point first. So according to economic survey 40 to 45% is only mechanized. Okay. In that also see first thing is 40 to 45% only. Approximately 40% is only mechanized. We are not using at least 50%, less than 50%. So we have to improve. If you take what kind of overall mechanization is there. See, in seed preparation, we are using more than 70%, particularly for rice and wheat. Okay. So, more mechanization was there, at least for a seed preparation in case of rice and wheat, more than 70%. In sowing operations, 38% only is in use. That too mostly for wheat. Then for planting or transplanting, it is only 31%. That should be in sugar cane and rice. Okay. Harvesting and threshing in that less than 32%, mostly for wheat and rice. Okay, for wheat and rice. In transplanting it is sugarcane as well. Otherwise we are not much using machinization, right? So farms are not mechanized. So only 40% according to the economic survey. This is a data that has to be noted. So according to Standing Committee on Agriculture, Animal Husbandry and Food Processing report, another 25 years are required to achieve the level of 75 to 80% of mechanization. To achieve the at least 80% mechanization, we want another 25 years. According to which report? It is according to Standing Committee on Agriculture, Animal Husbandry and Food Processing report. Okay, these are the two data. So far it is 40%. According to economic survey, to achieve 80%, we want 25 more years according to the Committee on Food Processing, Animal Husbandry and Agriculture, right? So then we'll see the challenges. Operational challenges are there. What kind of operational challenges? Fragmented land holding. See, land is very important to have machines to be used. So fragmented land can't be using such machineries, right? Then diverse soil conditions and cropping patterns. So we are not having a similar cropping pattern. We have a diversity in that also. That is also a kind of challenge. Then we have supply and demand mismatch. It's an important point to be noted. Sit and practice this. Supply and demand mismatch is there even in mechanization. So mostly it is tractorization, not mechanization. Most of them are like depending on tractor as a mechanization step than going for other aspects also. So it is tractorization than mechanization. Quality and serviceability constraint with unorganized manufacturers. So there is problem for unorganized manufacturers also. Then insufficiencies in farm equipment testing. So we are not testing farm equipments. So that is also a problem. So you can easily note land fragmentation, supply and demand mismatch, diversity in cropping pattern and land, and quality also inefficient farm equipment testing. Okay. Then comes to financial constraints. The operational constraints, why we read? Because it's a mechanization. What kind of challenges are we facing to at least start? Those are operational problems. Then you say financial, we are not getting credit, we don't have excess funds, and like we don't know how to get the subsidy. These things are the problems here. If you see, they are mentioning the same. High cost of precision equipment, poor access to finance, subsidy boosted markets with low demand thrive, lack of institutional credit mechanism. Credit is not there, financing is a problem. Precision equipment is having high cost, initial cost is high. Then if you see policy related, we have implementation inefficiencies. Then we have capacity building constant, in that lack of awareness. We read this, right? Whenever we talk about society, we should be taking about awareness and capacity building, where we will be training and giving the skills. So skilled manpower is a lack there. So for that, are we taking any steps? Obviously we should be taking. What are the initiatives? That is MAM, that is submission on agricultural mechanization. One of the key here it is. Okay, so you remember this. For mechanization you should be saying SMAM, SMAM. You can say SMAM or submission on agricultural mechanization. See, AM is agricultural mechanization, submission agricultural mechanization is a scheme. Then we have a farms app. If you see industry led initiative, we have a gold farm and the J farm services. Okay, at least you remember SMAM. Okay, for mechanization it's a SMAM. Then recommendation, what kind of recommendation or way forward can we take? Establish agricultural mechanization or machine banks. We know seed banks, right? Similar to that, we should have a machine banks, agricultural machine banks, so that more machines which are efficient will be reached to the farmers. And custom hiring centers also should be there. Targeted distribution should be there. To whom? How much? See, whoever is in more need should get more. That's the targeted distribution of CSEs. Then district level agricultural machinery banks. Again, machinery banks like seed banks. When you talk about seed, you say seed banks. When you talk machines, you should say agricultural machine bank should be there. Regional and state level service center. So if you have only machines, it is not sufficient. Service also should be provided, right? So to teach also, skill development also should be there. Service centers, hiring mechanized services, incorporate contracted services and contract farming legislation, district and block level crop and agricultural planning. Agricultural planning should be there at every district. See, you don't need to remember every point. So for this we are remembering one major point, that is we want machinery bank. We want it to be established even in districts, and there should be service centers. And we are saying there should be awareness and training programs and also agricultural planning. So then government should support for mechanization. Government should also come up with new schemes and policies apart from SMAM, like what is that? Submission agricultural mechanization, and also monitoring and utilization of mechanization is needed. So that's about mechanization. Then we have a agricultural extension service. So far I was saying that awareness has to be provided. So what kind of awareness? If we take knowledge about technology and other things, we will be dealing with agricultural extension services. Under agricultural extension, we will be talking about how are we sharing this knowledge and awareness, and how can we empower farmers. Under that we will study now. So as I told, for every topic we will be having certain data points, right? So one such data point is Indian Council for Research on International Economic Relations says 70% of the total agricultural R&E budget is allocated only to crop husbandry, not to the animal husbandry. 70% is directly to the crop husbandry. Who is saying this? Indian Council for Research on International Economic Relations. So this is one of the data point. We are mostly researching on crop husbandry rather than livestock, okay, animal husbandry. Agriculture R&D expenditure, if you see, if you spend 1 rupee on agriculture, you get 11 rupees in return. So that is a important thing. But here 89%, that means approximately 9% of investment is through public sector, whereas only 11% or 10% is from private sector according to agricultural R&D research, okay, research and development expenditure. So that is the data. Agriculture extension intensity, so rupees 95.2 per hectare, okay, that is what is the thing. Then we have the Dalwai Commission, that is extension functionaries. Farmers to extension functionary ratio is 1156:1. For every 1150 farmers, only one extension functionary is there. The ratio is very less. As we all know, doctor to patient ratio should be more, and even teachers to student. We'll be talking about this, but we never mostly talk on extension functionaries to farmer ratio. So if you see that it is very there is very much gap here, 1156. For these many farmers, only one extension functionary is there according to Dalwai panel. This has to be improved. Okay. Productivity of fields managed by ICAR are 6 times more productive than normal fields. So Indian Council for Agricultural Research, so when whatever land it is monitoring, right, they have a 6 times better productivity. So more should be there, more extension functionaries should be there for different lands, so that productivity will be high. So these are some of the points. If you can't remember everything, at least you remember it is 70% we are spending for crop husbandry only. So we should also focus on livestock or animal husbandry. Then we should say 90% approximately is by public sector investment, and only 10% or 11% is by private sector in R&D. And then you can at least say the ratio. Very important. This is very important. Extension functionaries ratio, I mean farmers and extension functionaries ratio is 1156:1, which is very much like having a gap. Then we can say this ICAR fields saying as a proof. So whatever lands under ICAR, they are having 6 times better productivity. So these many points, if you can remember, your work is done. Now we have a hierarchy. We can see that organizational framework. Under Ministry of Agriculture, we have Department of Agriculture. Under that it comes Directorate of Extension. Okay, under that it has. If you say organizational framework, we have National Institute of Agricultural Extension Management. Under that we have Extension Education Institute. It's of 4 members. Under that again we have State Agricultural Management and Extension Training Institute. It's a state level. Then finally Agricultural Technology Management Agency, and this will connect with Krishi Vignan Kendras and Indian Council on Agricultural Research and all. Okay. These are the architectural thing we have. Then we see what is the benefit if you have a agricultural or extension services. Okay, we have at different level different benefits, and overall we are going to get more productivity, more profit, more income. Now we will see at different levels what kind of help it can be done by agricultural extension service. If you see pre-planting stage, which crop to grow, how much land to allocate for each crop can be determined. Seeding stage, if you see, whether to purchase seed or to use the own seed, which seed to purchase and where to purchase, all these details is a benefit from agricultural extension service. So if you see preparing and planting stage, how to prepare land for specific crop, how to sow the seeds, all these things will be knowledge okay, which will be useful for productivity. In growing stage, if you see how much quality of water, fertilizer, manure, herbicide has to be used, which fertilizer, which manure, which herbicide, so all those things, how to apply various inputs, from where to purchase, all these things, these details can be figured out. Then under harvesting, post production, packing and storage stage, if you see how to harvest, how to package, way to store, and how to cure the crop and options available for the value addition, all this can be ensured. Then in marketing stage, way to sell the produce or consume it at home, where and when to sell the produce, at what price can we sell this produce. All these are the benefit from agricultural extension services, because the knowledge will be shared. But there are certain challenges also. I will say some of the challenges, though it is not mentioned here. One is human resource development challenge, where inadequate resource like human, physical and financial inadequate resources there. Skill development is a deficit here. we have to spend on ICT, that is information and communication technology. Inadequate competency and skill extension functionaries, so we don't have that much of extension functionaries. Poor performance incentive for public extension officers. Okay, then if you see linkages, poor linkages between research, extension, farmer, market, these things. Then we have a finance. If you take, credit deficit is there. Policy and governance, low political priority and the support of extension. Weak public-private partnership, that is one more problem, right? In market linkages, lack of market and profit orientation, lack of focus on value addition. Infrastructure, poor infrastructure, we don't have connectivity, ICT, right? Under management, top-down approach we are following, which has to be changed to bottom-up approach. Advisory system also there is a problem. Production oriented extension is done, which is incomplete, right? Then empowerment of farmers is needed, which is not happening. At least like women in agriculture has to be empowered. So these are some of the challenges we have. In private also we have certain problems, that is issues in convergence of public and private extension services. That means the plurality of institutions and agencies numbering more than 2000 functioning under various ministries of a central state government, private sector, NGO, etc. are working under the silos and lack synergy. So collaboration is needed, right? National Mission on Agricultural Extension and Technology is there. So so these are some of the schemes. Now we'll go for schemes. Till here we have seen the problems. Now we'll see the schemes. National Mission on Agricultural Extension and Technology. Okay, so there is National Mission. For this also we have National Mission. So what is that? National Mission on Agricultural Extension and Technology. Then we have Krishi Vignan Kendras. Previously also we have gone through it. Then we have ICT led, that is Information and Communication Technology led extension interventions by DACFW. What are those? Those are like Farmers Portal, M-Kisan, Kisan Call Center, Kisan TV channel, agricultural fairs and exhibitions, agricultural clinics and agriculture business centers. All these are extension of ICT. So NGOs also helping. In one such NGO is Pradhan, that is Professional Assistance of a Development Action. Okay, Professional Assistance for Development Action. And then we have a BIF Development Research Foundation, Action for Food Production, one more NGO. If you can't remember all NGOs, at least you remember Pradhan as one NGO, or then Action for Food Production, or whichever you like, one or two you remember, that is sufficient. So that is all about extension services. Then we have a credit problem. Right now we will see how to solve the credit problem. So all these are small points only. Just note 2 data points, challenges in 4 challenges and similar kind of way forward, but different initiative that are being under process now. Okay, if you can note those for each topic, you are done, your work is done. Don't complicate the process, keep it simple and learn simple. Okay, so under this we have economic survey, that is it says credit has increased 1.5 times, nearly 1.5 times. So 50% has been increased. Before it was 13.3 lakh, now it is 20.7 lakh crore. So it is 13.3 lakh crore to 20.7 lakh crore, 1.5 times increased. Okay, this is what you can mention. Then we have a joint liability groups 2023-2024. According to that, joint liability groups accounts have grown at a compound annual growth rate of 43.76% over the last 5 years. So it is growing. We know this liability groups, right? They will be forming group among themselves and they will be liable to each other, that thing. So among farmers, liability groups in that accounts also grown up 43.76%. Growth in agricultural credit, even it is growing. NABARD 40% of agri households have taken informal loans. So it says 40% of agricultural households taken informal loans. So we are going for informal loans and only 50% is formal. So this is one important point you can remember. And you can remember joint liability groups. Economic survey you can remember. 3 points is over. So next you can go for constraint. What are the problems? Declining size of a land holding. See, similar problem. Land holding and fragmentation is a problem. Lack of record of rights. So it is not recorded also. That is one more problem. Increase of share of a tenant farmers. Notion of INPA. Whenever you talk about credit, loans, you must be talking about NPA also, right? So then we have coercion action for repayment. Anomalies in priority sector lending. We know that whenever we talk about credit, we will be talking two important points. One is NPAs and priority sector lending. In that also there are anomalies, okay. Then regional imbalance is there. How can we improve that? So we can go for targeted delivery. Or we can give strict adherence to the target group stipulation, farmer mobilization. Then I said already it is increasing now. Joint liability group already 40% it crossed. So we should be improved through this. Land lease markets, land record and digitization, infrastructure and common assets. So then if you see, is there any scheme? Of course there is a Kisan credit card scheme, PSL scheme, and modified interest subvention scheme, agriculture infrastructure scheme. All these are the schemes for credit. So that's all for credit. Next we have investment. So credit is the short term. We will see investment. So gross capital of the agriculture sector, Economic Survey 2023-24, annual growth in GCF from 2016 to 17 to 2023 was 9.70. So it has been increased from 9% to 17%. So almost it got doubled in investment, okay. Gross capital funding, okay. Now, according to Ashok Dalwai panel, for doubling farmer income, what can be done? Or how much effort it will take? For doubling farmer income needs to grow at 10.4% between 2016 to 2022. For that, investment needs to grow at 12.5%. To grow 10.4% of income, you should have 12.5% of investment first. That is a panel suggestion, Ashok Dalwai panel, okay. So these are the two data points. Then we have experience of, if you see growth theory and investment, elementary growth theory highlights that the growth of a sector depends on the investment made in the sector, reflected in capital output ratio, okay. Capital to the output ratio we will measure from that is growth theory and investment. To have a growth in some sector, investment has to be there, is what growth theory and investment says. So China experience is good in that it invested more in agriculture and poverty elevation or poverty got reduced, okay. So because of this, what happens, there will be an inclusive growth, food security, supplier role, all these things. IFPRI research finding says, I was mentioning before also, for 1 rupee spent, you will get 11 rupee in return as an if it is an investment. If it is only subsidy, you will get 0.88 rupee only in return to 1 rupee. So see which is better. Investment is far better, right? We will see the small difference between investment and the subsidies. So time frame, mostly subsidy rely on the short term relief. Investment long term. Fiscal impact, high and recurrent fiscal burden will be there because you should keep on giving the subsidy on required period, right? Whereas investment, once you invest for long time, you no need to go for again investment, but you will get in return the savings as well, right? Market effects, if you see, subsidy will distort market, whereas investment promotes market efficiency and competitiveness. Environment impact, when I am getting subsidy, I will be not properly using how much ever it should be. We will be going for overuse, whereas investment will carefully focus how much to use and where to use, promoting sustainable practices. Farmer dependency, it can create dependency and reduce the innovation in case of subsidy. Whereas when you are investing, we go for more modernization so that we will be having more productivity. So that will encourage self-reliance and modernization. Economic diversity in subsidy it is limited, whereas in investment it is more. Accessibility, it is accessible, subsidy is accessible to all farmers, but investment should be go on target measure based, okay, but inclusivity should be ensured. Whereas returns in case of subsidy it is 0.88, already we have discussed, whereas in investment it is 11 rupees for 1 rupee. Farmer behavior also will be inefficient in case of subsidy, but it encourages to adapt to the technology in case of investment. This is the short difference. If you can analyze these things, you will be focusing more on investment. So we'll see what kind of strategy we can focus in case of investment. It should go with a targeted approach. So targeted approach is what required. This is one more keyword. Remember, most of the chapters will be having this keyword, and we should be using targeted approach should be there. Credit access should be given to everyone. Priority areas should be focused on, like electricity and major and medium irrigation projects, etc. So schemes, do we have any schemes? Of course we will be having. One such is agriculture marketing infrastructure sub scheme of the integrated scheme for agricultural marketing. It's a sub scheme, okay. Agriculture marketing infrastructure. Then we have a agriculture infrastructure fund. Even in credit we have seen this agriculture infrastructure fund. So next comes the insurance. Investment is over. Now we will see for the insurance. So why insurance? Why? To have as a safety net, to safeguard livelihoods, right? Or to promote economic stability, encourage modern farming and encourage investment also. If you want to encourage investment, please provide insurance as well. So investment and insurance are interrelated again. You should be able to memorize this also. We have memorized today targeted delivery kind of thing or services, and we also should remember investment should be given, or insurance should be given to encourage the investment, right? So we will see one such major insurance is PM Fasal Bima Yojana. So according to Economic Survey 2023, overall insured area is 610 lakh hectares. It has reached to 610 lakh hectares. We have to focus still more. Farmer applications, 5,549.40 lakh farmers applications have been insured under the scheme since 2016 and 17. It is more than 5,500 lakh farmers, okay. And we'll just have a look into Bima Yojana. So it's a crop, it's a largest crop insurance scheme in the world in terms of farmers enrollment. There is more farmer enrollment, and now we have seen 5,500 approximately lakh farmers, right? So yes, it's the largest in terms of farmer enrollment, and ranks third in terms of insurance premium, okay. Features, if you see, it is voluntary for all the farmers including sharecroppers and tenant farmers. It is for everyone. Comprehensive crop insurance from pre-sowing to post harvest period. See, one more term is integrated or comprehensive crop insurance from pre to post harvest, okay. Providing financial assistance to farmer experiencing crop loss or damage and ensuring their safety net, okay. What are the challenges? High premium cost, cumbersome premium payment procedure, it's difficult, lack of banking facilities, you can also say lack of financial inclusion, delays in settling claims, lack of transparency, non-uniform premium rates for different crops, and poor awareness. Society, we will be saying about poor awareness, and we have to convert to human capital through skilling and training, right? The same point. So if you can memorize certain such points, you will be able to repeatedly use the same things. Okay, now we will see cooperatives. Here the motto comes with Sahakar se Samriddhi. So Sahakar se Samriddhi. That is the motto of cooperative. Okay. Sahakar se Samriddhi. So what are the principles? Voluntary and open membership. Democratic feature. This is very, very important. Democratic member control. Member economic participation equitably, and autonomy, independence will be there. Education, training and information sharing will happen. Cooperation and cooperatives together. Cooperatives and cooperation, that is cooperation among cooperatives. Okay. Concern for the community. So these are the things. One important point is democratic member control. This is important point. If you see data, 8.03 lakh single state and 1614 multi-state cooperatives are there according to Economic Survey 2023-24. How many? So if you say single state, it is 8.03 lakh. When you say multi-state, it is 1600, around 1600. Okay. Why it is needed? Inclusive growth, sustainability. This is one of the thing I already said. You can use multi-where. And also poverty alleviation, democratic decision making or service delivery, rural development, conflict management. You can say decision by participatory decision making. Okay. Decision making. Challenges. There are certain bogus cooperatives also, and these are state sponsored cooperatives, so maybe democratic decision making will be little tougher. Service cooperatives and their shortcomings like leadership and control, exclusion of poor, etc. Failure of productivity and scale benefits, bureaucratic overreach and inefficiency, organizational issues, financial issues, operational issues. See, always remember there will be operational issue, organizational issues, financial issues, and challenges with the credit, cooperative credit. So for that, are we having any initiative? Yes, we do. So strengthening urban and rural cooperative banks. So cooperative banks we are trying to strengthen. Tax and financial relief is there. So trying for a capacity building, use of information and technology, and we try to build multi-state cooperatives, new some more. So that is about multi-state. Under that we have PACS, that is Primary Agricultural Cooperative Societies. Now you should be knowing some data and the organizational structure. Before that we will see some examples and the success stories. You can mention Amul, Sudha in Bihar, then Nandini, Karnataka Milk Federation, KMF, and then we have a Indian Farmer Fertilizer Cooperative Society, Saundarya Safai Mandli, Andaman Nicobar Cooperative Supply and Marketing Federation, Saryu Valley Paryatan Samiti, Sanstanga Mangala Mahila Multipurpose Cooperative Society, Odisha. Okay. So these are some of the things, success stories. You can remember one or two, like I do remember Amul, very easy for me. Amul, Sudha, and then Nandini, these are easy for me. I'll remember these three. So like that you should be remembering your favorite, right? So that you'll be representing in a exam hall. So then we should be knowing the structure. So before reading that, just reread this. What is PACS? I wrongly mentioned there. It is Primary Agricultural Credit Society. So Credit Society it is. So from cooperative it will start. We have cooperative credit institutions. So cooperative credit institutions, under that we have two. One is urban cooperative banks. We know that we are trying to strengthen cooperative banks so that it will be useful for farmers, right? So we have urban cooperative banks and rural cooperative banks. This is rural cooperative banks. Under rural we have again two. What is that? Short term structure, short term and long term structure. Okay. Under short term structure you can see three more. One is state cooperative banks, central cooperative banks, and then comes PACS, Primary Agricultural Credit Societies. In long term we have two. state cooperative, agriculture and rural development banks. Then state cooperative, primary cooperative, agriculture and rural development bank. One is on state, one is on primary. So you understood the structure, right? This is under the control of state. Okay. So first we have a cooperative credit societies or institutions. Under that, urban cooperative banks and rural cooperative banks. Again under rural cooperative banks we have short term and long term. Under short term we have three. One is state cooperative banks, central cooperative banks and primary agricultural credit societies. Then under long term we have two, that is state cooperative agricultural and rural development banks. Second one is primary cooperative agriculture and rural development bank. This is the organizational structure you should be knowing. So if you see more about PACS, it's the lowest tier of the short term, as I already mentioned, okay, under cooperative credit structure. Regulatory status, it is regulated under Banking Regulation Act 1949. Refinancing to PACS through DCCBs and SCBs, okay. State cooperative banks and district cooperative banks, those things. Financial inclusion, so 41% of KCC Kisan credit card loans will be from primary agricultural credit societies, 41% approximately, okay. So we know, we have seen this 40% somewhere also, that is mechanization 40%. 41% of KCC loans are from PACS, okay, PACS, you can say like that. Challenges, you can say again, operational challenge, you can say institutional, financial problems will be there, and also technological lag. So moving forward, note down this point again, technological problem or crisis or a lag, declining credit share, resource dependence, competition from FPOs, governance challenge, inefficient human resource, lack of fair audit mechanism. So there is lack of fair audit mechanism, this is important here. Lack of awareness, so society awareness and skill development needed, right? So if you see initiative, we have computerization and efficiency improvement. We are going for computerization. Grain storage program, it is having multiple program, not only credit giving, grain storage program is also there. Decentralized storage, agricultural infrastructure. Expand the scope of a work to what? Common service centers, LPG distribution, petrol diesel pump dealership, additional functionaries and responsibilities like health and agriculture service, water supply and solar power. Initiatives, model bylaw for PACS, model bylaw for PACS. Way forward, research mobilization, diversification, upholding democratic principle, transparency, accountability also you can add, infrastructure development and capacity building. So these are about PACS. Next we have food processing industries, FPIs, food processing industries. We'll see, it's an important thing. If you read about post harvesting problems in the initial days, we read like we have to go towards the manufacturing sector also from primary sector, that is agriculture should go for food processing industries. Now in depth we will talk about food processing industries. We'll take one or two facts, that is Annual Survey of Industry ASI 2019-20, 12.2% of persons employed in the food processing industries. How many percent? Approximately 12%. 11% of the total arable land in the world is dedicated to that, okay. Only 12% are employed. Economic survey, 11% of the total arable land in the world. In the world they are talking 11.2%, I am saying approximation 11%. So then we have this first in the production of milk. It started first in the production of milk. Second, sugar, fruit and vegetable. Initially we started with milk production. Later we went for sugar and fruit and vegetables. Okay. So then export USD 46 billion, accounting for about 11.7% of India's total export. It is according for 11% of export. Okay, food processing industry, very important. We already see 2 points here related to 11%. One is total arable land in the world, 11% for food processing, and 11% of export from India side. Okay, so stages, there are 3 stages under food processing. Primary stage, what they will do is they consume in a original state without significant processing or value addition. There is like direct consumption, original state. Secondary, basic processing will be there to increase that usability and shelf life. Third will come tertiary, combining multiple primary and secondary products to create new or value added items. So this is the thing. Okay, then we'll see constraint. What are the challenges? Upstream also there are problems, downstream also. We'll see upstream what are the problems. Raw material supply and quality problem. It is seasonable and quality standards are less because it is not certified on all. Quality of materials. Agricultural practices, because the same problem, fragmented land holdings, inefficient farmer techniques. So mechanization should be there is what we were talking about. Infrastructure and logistics, storage and transport problems, input supply, seed, fertilizer, water issue, everything. Upstream, when before producing, what and all the problems, everything. Financial, regulation, land use regulation, and compliance cost. When you see downstream, so after production, what happens? Market access, infrastructure problems, technology and innovation problems, regulation and policy issues, consumer demand and preferences, based on that we want, right? So financial constraint, adulteration, important key, supply chain management, demand and supply mismatch also happens. So for that, way forward, what can be done? Policy regulation, policy reforms, regulations, operational synergy, and then we can build capacity. Okay, then also focus on economic stakeholders, and we should go with the stimulative processes. So for that, do we have any initiative? We do have, that is Draft National Food Processing Policy 2019. Then Kisan Sampada Yojana, PM Kisan Sampada Yojana, very important. Pradhan Mantri Formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprise, PMFME. Okay, so this is important. Pradhan Mantri Formalization of a Micro Food Processing Enterprise. It has been formalized now. Okay, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. So yeah, already we have seen that. Then we have production linked incentive scheme for food processing industries, PLI scheme for food processing industries. Okay, productive linked incentive. Recently for textile also they are giving, but for food and all we should be giving, we are giving also. Scheme of cold chain, value addition and preservation infrastructure. See this tree food is a good one, and then one district one product. Under this we are giving J tax and all, right? So note this. If you can't remember everything, at least remember 2 of food processing policies. One is Kisan Sampada Yojana, or formalization of micro food processing enterprises, one district one product, tree food, all these things you can note. So we have Sahyadri Farmer Producer Company. It's a success story. Have a case study. Just have a look into it. Sahyadri Farmer Producer Company. So these are the things. Then we can go for supply chain management. So far we are discussing on supply demand mismatch and all. So now we can have a discussion on supply chain. How can we manage that? Supply chain management. Okay. So what are the components in case of supply chain? So whenever you talk about supply chain, you should definitely remember 4 key points. Not only now, even for any other subject, if you talk on supply chain, make sure that you are definitely taking the points, these 4 points. Okay. So what are those? First one is procurement or sourcing. Procurement or sourcing. First point. Logistic management, that is transportation, etc., etc. So logistic management. Then we have organizational management. Then application of efficient customer response system. You should be knowing customer response also. So these 4 keys, under this you can talk about supply chain management. First you should source it, procurement. Then comes logistic. Finally, third point will be organization, and final is application of efficient consumer response system. So these are the things. Then how did it got evolved? So it got evolved from processing based SCM success. So initially processing based. Then logistic stage, integrated functional areas, modern agri supply chain, response to globalization and internal changes. Okay, accordingly we are changing. Then amended APMR Act, enabling provisions. So APMR also got amended. So yeah, there is one chain. See, broken links in agri supply chain in India. What is the broken link? If you see that, you can have a table here. You can see that production poor extension, quality inputs, low productivity, deficient and inefficient production management, non-demand linked production, improper post-harvest management, and quality in poor quality. Okay, resulting in poor quality. So we have noted this before also. Now as a table we are giving in different stages. If we say supply chain, lack of storage, transportation, high wastages, multiple intermediaries, fresh produce transported to mandis in open basket or gunny bags, stacked one on the top of other, so that quality will be affected. Cold chain absent or broken produce deteriorates rapidly. Food safety measures and those concerns, hygiene concerns. So in supply chain these are the problems. Processing, low processing, lack of quality, poor returns, low capacity utilization. Okay. Marketing, poor infrastructure, lack of grading, no linkages. We have seen in initial stages only there should be forward and backward linkages. So that is not there. Non-transparency and long delays from producer to retailer. There is a delay also. So these are some of the problems you can note, and you can use in multi ways at multi different levels. Benefits, if you have supply chain management, what kind of benefit you will get? Coordination will be there, first thing. Traceability will be there. Efficient and quality control. Infrastructure and facilities. Market access and flexibility will be there. Integrated and legal framework should be taken. So good example in supply chain you can mention is Maha grapes. Okay, this is one of the good case study. Just have a small look into it. So from farm to fork, what is happening we can see. Farmer, aggregator, market yard, then wholesaler, then sub wholesaler, retailer and then consumers. It's the chain that is following. It's not directly coming to customers, but it is going through aggregator, market yard, wholesaler, sub wholesaler, then retailer, then consumer. So how can we improve this? You can farmer to collection center, directly to retailer, or even to consumer, or from retailer to consumer. This is what we can be using. So this is mandi route and retail route. So you can be having a combination of those, and to reduce this so many intermediaries. Okay, that will be the changing supply chain, which is good for us. So now next we'll see integrated farming systems. Supply chain we have seen what are the challenges and all. So then we'll see integrated farming system. What is integrated farming system? Farming system we know integrated, comprehensive, combined. So models are like horticulture plus piggery, fishery, plantation crops together, or horticulture plus donkery, fishery, plantation crops, vermicomposting and apiding. So you can take different models and comprehensively integratedly you can grow or do the farming. Advantages, you will be having a diversification, therefore risk is reduced. Resource optimal utilization also will happen. Nutrient cycling will happen. Zero budget natural farming is the scope actually here. Soil fertility can be ensured. Nutrient cycling will happen. Integrated pest and disease management will be there, which is very important. IPDM, right? Integrated pest and disease management. Increased productivity and income. Environmental sustainability will be there when you go for integrated farming systems. But what are the challenges? First thing, awareness, affordability, acceptance, not under MSP. It's not under MSP to do this. Better integration with the food processing industry is not there, but that has to be ensured. So for that we have certain schemes also, initiatives. National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture is focusing on it. Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. We studied about this before also. Krishi Vidhan Yojana, Vikas Yojana. Under that, yeah, again you can go for this. Even in our tradition, we should do this, right? Then Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana. So these are some of the yojanas we have for integrated farming practices. Next we have agricultural export. So if you see that data point is so USD 53.1 billion according to 2022 and 23. Okay, India exports more than 7% of its food grains, more than 7%, but still we should improve more. Okay, what is the issue? Supply side we have a issue, demand side, and also other issues. Export, when you talk, you will talk about supply demand mismatch and all, right? So supply side, what is the problem? Low per capita productivity. Productivity is low. Poor export competitiveness. First of all, awareness is also a lack. Government policies and inconsistent restrictive regime. Also we can mention financial constraints. Then demand side, economic, tariff barrier are there, non-tariff measures are also there, tariff and non-tariff. When you talk about export, you should also talk about tariffs and non-tariff measures. International trade agreements. Of course, trade, you are talking about international trade agreement, and later post-pandemic challenges. After pandemic, some more challenges also added up. Okay. Other, existing at a lower end of the global value chain. Declining export. So these are some of the problems. So what are the initiative we have? We have Agricultural Export Promotion Plan of APEDA, and we have National Program for Organic Production. We have Agri Udan Program. So Udan Program through air. Sampada Program. Niti Aayog MSP model and Model Land Leasing Act, etc. We have other initiative also like Market Access Initiative, Trade Infrastructure for Export Schemes, APEDA, MPEDA, Tea Board, Rubber Board, different boards we established, Spices Board, Landlord Digitization, Mechanized Merchandise Export from India scheme. So these are some of the scheme. If you can't remember everything, at least you remember. One is Agriculture Export Promotion Plan of APEDA. One more is organic farming production, and then we have Agricultural Udan Program, Sampada Yojana. All these things we can mention. Way forward. So one is eye level group on agriculture experts recommendations. So there should be a group for it. Holistic institutional and operational infrastructural reforms should be there. Holistic reforms are needed. Collaboration is needed. High value agri commodities with relative advantage for India focused export policy should be there. Organic produce, basmati rice, marine produce, vegetable, including these things. Renegotiation. Then information symmetry on market for exporters. Convergence of multiple schemes are needed actually. Link exporters, processors and producers. Testing infrastructure. So strengthening infrastructure is also important. So farm subsidy and all we have to recheck and try to improve the export. Efficient global and domestic value chain development, supply chain development or value chain development has to be there. Paradigm shift from access export to targeted export. So I told this word how much it is important, targeted. So targeted export should be there. Focus on food processing industries. This also I spoke before, with high quality and training and skilling. So human capital should be formed. Next we have APMCs. So it is Agricultural Produce Market Committees. Okay? Market committees. What are the problems here? We have problems also, right? There are low number of APMCs, lack of infrastructure in agricultural market, high wastages in supply chain. This is a problem under infrastructure and market access. Next, if you see, market dynamics and farmer realization is also a problem in this. If you see, compulsory selling to APMCs or government procurement node at MSP. So they are going for MSP, right? That is one of the problem. Fragmentation of markets. We were saying so far, fragmentation of land holdings. Even fragmentation of markets is a problem here. Lack of unrestricted movement. Less farmers price realization, high marketing cost. These are some of the problems under market dynamics and farmer realization. If you see market practices and governances, again there is some problems like artificial monopoly, lack of competition, exploitation by intermediaries. We have already seen from farmer to fork how many intermediaries are there. Corruption, collusion by adathias and political interference and corruption, cartelization. Yeah, cartelization is one of the big problems then. Limited farmer representation. So we can go with cooperatives is as a solution. Later we'll think on it. High incidence of market charges. Non-transparency in utilization of levies collected. Selling problems also are there. So open auctions discourages direct selling. High mandi fees and lack of linkages, then lack of MSCB updation. Okay, so for that we have schemes also to improve that. Agriculture index by Niti Aayog is one of the key important one to note. Sampada, Operation Greens, top to total. See, such a good name, top to total. Promotion of FPOs schemes and ENAM. We know this ENAM, right? Electronic mandis and all will in electronics we are using here, where we can sell our products from our apps itself. E-marketing, see e-marketing portal for organic farm products. Then transport and marketing assistance schemes by MOCI for faster export focus movements. And we have grants also, check the full form, and agricultural funds, Model Agricultural Produce and Livestock Marketing Act, Integrated Scheme for Agri Marketing, Kisan Rail Services, Kisan Udan. Already in transportation also we have seen this. Kisan Rail Services, Kisan Udan, Agri Marketing Funds, we have seen this. Even Agri Infrastructure Funds also are there. So what are the way forward? Recommendation of Dalwai Committee to create mini markets to bridge the deficiency of APMCs. So we said market fragmentation is there and less market access also is there. So according to Dalwai Committee, they are also asking for building mini markets. AgTech, agriculture technology startup should be there. So agripreneur should be there. Producer consolidation and contract farming consolidation. This consolidation part is very important, that has to be taken care of. A small and fragmented farms into more viable land holdings will improve producer access to finance and quality inputs, beside enabling better price realization. So consolidation is what needed. And private public partnership model in agri marketing and transport. So like what is that? Urbanization of agri transport. Okay, urbanization. Then features of Model Agriculture Produce and Livestock Marketing Promotion Facilitation Act. So APLM Act is there for us. So what are the features? Unified market area will be there. Setting up of market yards, market yard, national importance, promotion of district interface, and then freedom of choice of farmers, promotion of national market, e-trading, market fee should be single point, full democratization of market committee and rationalization of a market fee and commission charges. These are some of the features of APLM Act. Now we know APMC. You should also know APLM. What is that? Agricultural produce, livestock and livestock marketing. For market, you must mention APLM market. So our APLM Act when 2017. So that is about APMC. So with this we will stop for today. We will catch up tomorrow for the next topics.